really good, thanks. At the minute, I actually got some really exciting news yesterday, which sort of, I mean, it's nothing definite, but it's kind of one of those things where, like, if it's what I think it is and what I hope it means, then it's sort of very exciting and like progressive stuff. So yeah, you've caught me on a very good day today. Yes, definitely the Harry Potter series is one of my favourites. I absolutely love the books. They're so just brilliantly written, and I mean, pardon the word choice, but just they are magical, you know. So I really love those, and I think my favourite one is The Prisoner of Azkaban. But there are other books I love as well, because I sort of generally tend to read more sort of for knowledge rather than, say, like fictional books. So there are a lot of great voice acting books that I've read, for example. And I also, like, a random book I love is Moneyball. It's odd that like a book about baseball and statistics is kind of one of my favourites, but it's just incredibly fascinating and just has all these incredible stories, and it sort of really says a lot of weird stuff about life, like not even if you don't care about baseball or anything, there are sort of these interesting stories that you can learn a lot from. And then another set of books that I've really loved and that are sort of close to my heart are sort of Roald Dahl books, and in particular Fantastic Mr. Fox was always my favourite when I was a kid. Yes, I have, and I have actually done a few audiobooks, very fortunately, about autism, about an autistic boy named Jody, and they were a lot of fun to do, and I enjoyed them. Audiobooks is sort of an interesting area of voiceover. I think it's something where, if I could, because often the voice actors have to sort of edit and record the audio themselves, and there's a lot of editing involved with all those hours of recording. And I think that kind of aspect of it doesn't appeal to me as much, but I think if there were situations where I could like just go into a studio and record the book and not have to worry about all the editing, I can just sort of like, you know, be the narrator. I think sort of, yeah, and for the right subject matter, I'd definitely love to do more of them because they are good to do, but it's just sort of all that editing and all those other things that can, you know, sort of the responsibility of kind of taking on the whole project yourself, like kind of almost most of the production of it, is quite a daunting task, which is why I haven't done loads of audiobooks. But yeah, with the right subject matter, it's definitely something I'd love to do more of, definitely. Yeah, I did, but it was interesting as well because the way I kind of felt about it ultimately is that the writing actually helped my voice acting as well, because I kind of felt like in some ways they were kind of opposites. Voice acting is where you take something that's already written and you kind of have to look at it and interpret what it's really trying to say, and then to kind of sort of perform that yourself. But with the writing, what it kind of was is it was almost like you have that message that already, but then you need to find the words to actually express it. So it was kind of interesting because my voice acting skills kind of helped with that. In that I was used to doing the opposite, so then I was able to kind of work backwards in a way for my writing process. But it was actually interesting sort of working backwards because I feel like that's then also actually helped my voice acting as well. Sort of working voice acting backwards has then helped my voice acting. But being able to take what I normally do and do that backwards then helped me to be able to write, if that makes sense. So when I was a kid, there were like all kinds of different jobs that I wanted to do. I never really was sure. I don't think a lot of kids are in a way. But it was sort of when I was 12, I kind of had this realization like what voice acting kind of actually is. I watched like a behind the scenes sort of interview with the cast of The Simpsons, and then I sort of absolutely fell in love with this thing and thought that'd be a really cool thing to do. But it wasn't sort of the thing I had to do at that point, and you know, when you're like 12 years old, you keep your options open. But when I was sort of 18 years old, I then kind of came back to the idea. I sort of had this epiphany one day, and then I kind of thought, well, actually, yeah, I thought that was a really cool thing to do for quite a few years now. Maybe if I sort of look into it and did the homework and see, maybe it's a crazy idea, but maybe it's possible. And I've sort of been, you know, ever since that sort of epiphany, I've been absolutely in love with it and pursuing it ever since. For me, I think it's absolutely all the just amazing friends I've made in the business. There are people who I grew up listening to as a kid and who I've deeply admired for years, and the fact that I sort of got to meet these people and even sort of become friends with some of them and stuff, you know, like being friends with a Ninja Turtle is just such a cool thing, and I love all the connections and the friends I've made, and sort of it's led to me going to amazing places like Nickelodeon Animation and stuff like that, and I just hope that I can, you know, meet more people and go to even more amazing places, because I think that is sort of my favourite part of it. Yes, absolutely. I've loved every time I've gone to America. All the stuff that's kind of inspired me to become a voice actor comes from America, like pretty much. There's so many amazing people out there, so many amazing like shows come from America, and getting to sort of see some of that firsthand has just been incredible. I can't wait to go again. I hope I get to go again soon. And yeah, every time I've gone, it's just sort of strengthened my resolve, and it just made me even more determined to achieve my dreams. I remember in school we had a project in RE once. I can't really remember what the point of the project was, and you'll know why in a minute. But I remember we had to sort of make a little kind of radio show or audio thing, and we had to like rent like tape recorders from the school's library to sort of record this sort of project. But I mean, I just remember me and my friends just used it as an excuse to like make loads of like fake adverts and jokes and put on silly voices and characters and stuff like that. I think we had no educational content in it whatsoever, but I just remember having so much fun doing it and coming up with these little jokes and ideas and things to do, and I think we still got like 16 or 17 out of 20, so it couldn't have been that bad. There are so many things. I'd love to be in some big Nintendo game of some kind. That would definitely be something on my bucket list. To be in sort of a Nickelodeon cartoon would be something. You know, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney, that would be great. To even be in like a Pixar film or something would be cool. Bit of a long shot, but you never know. And yeah, I think that sort of Nintendo would be a big one. I think something like Nickelodeon, or because I've always loved Nickelodeon. If I could ever be in a franchise like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, that would be awesome, because that's one of my favourite franchises. I think just anything that kind of I loved when I was a kid, if there's some way for me to be a part of it as an adult, that'd be the best. I think it was definitely the people. I really just loved all the people who I worked with. They're really nice, and it was just like a really fun collaborative process, and I didn't feel like my book was trying to be like taken over or micromanaged or turned into something else. It kind of was what I wanted it to be, and everyone was just sort of so nice about it. And you were really good with the cover actually on my Facebook the other day. I sort of saw it, sort of said like, you know, 1 year ago you showed your cover off to everyone. And I just remember sort of working with you on the cover and sort of how we'd kind of come up with something, and you were kind of like, well, I think I kind of know what you're going for and have a better idea of that. And I'm really glad you did that, because I really love the cover of it. It's it turned out even sort of better than I could have hoped. I'm not really a visual person, so again, to kind of have people to kind of, you know, sort of kind of cover for your weaknesses, and to just be so nice and helpful about it as well was really excellent. Yes, I would. There are times where it can sort of be frustrating, but when I did sort of write this book, it was actually a sort of a therapeutic process. When I wanted to write the book, I kind of just thought, well, I'll see how much I can do. I'd sort of maybe tried writing before, but never really got very far with it. So I just kind of took that attitude again. Well, I'll see how far I get this time. But I just kept going and going, and because I was able to keep going, and because I was just able to kind of put all my thoughts down, and I didn't really get stuck too often. Because of that, it was a therapeutic process and not a stressful one. I have sort of tried writing things before, and you don't have a specific enough idea, and you can kind of hit walls, and it can be quite stressful when you kind of vaguely have some idea of some place you want to go, but you can't put it into words. But definitely for this book, it was a therapeutic process, and because of the subject matter as well, because it was sort of articulating all these, you know, kind of ideas and ways and methods of just making your life a little bit better. It was really nice just being sort of to articulate that and put it down and sort of have a concrete set of instructions kind of down on, you know, kind of what to do to make my life better. It's like, oh yeah, that's what I do to make myself happy, and that is very therapeutic. It was incredibly satisfying. As I sort of have said, like, you know, I'd sort of kind of tried a few times before to maybe put some ideas down, see if they could ever become anything, but I never really got far. And this time, the fact that I was able to just kind of put everything down and make it clear and concise, and that I kind of ended up with a whole book, it actually really did feel great once I kind of had it and sort of, you know, and I'd kind of checked it through, and I kind of thought, yeah, it was nice looking at it and thinking, yeah, I think I really have something here. In all honesty, well, at least with the writing, I don't know. I'm not sure. I felt really happy with the book, and I don't really feel like there's anything, even now, you know, sort of almost a year after it was published, I don't really feel like there's sort of too much that I want to add to it, really. But perhaps in terms of the voice acting career and then also the writing as well, maybe I could even sort of get, you know, writing for television or something like that. You never know, writing scripts could be really fun. That would be something I would love to try and get into. For the voice acting, I think it's just go up and up and up and up and up. Those Nintendo games, Nickelodeon cartoons and everything, that would be what I'd really, really, you know, love to be next for me.